I'm a complete nerd. And I like to try new things. So anyway, I thought I would do a book review. I promised you guys I would do a book review. Now, this one I have reviewed before with my CBF members, but it bears reminding because it is such a good book by one of my favorite authors whom I got to meet at, I should have popped up a picture. I didn't think of that. I have a picture of the author. I get to spend 3 full days in a small room with the author of this book. And he was doing one-on-one training with about 12 of us from around the country. And it was phenomenal. So I'm going to do a book review that my CBF members have heard me do before, but it's just a good reminder. So let me just share with you a little bit about tonight's book that we're going to talk about. If you haven't read it in a while, I encourage you to read it again. It's an easy read. It's called Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy, one of my favorite authors. In fact, if I had thought of this ahead of time, I would have pulled up a picture of me with Brian Tracy, and I'm sure there's a picture somewhere on my timeline. It was probably right about a year ago, and I was able to do some one-on-one training with him, and he offers speaker training to give, basically $1 million speaker tips and training because he's made millions of dollars speaking for a living. And let me do something real quick. Let's see here. Got to send that. But this is one of my favorite books because, like I said, this is one of my favorite authors of all time. And Brian Tracy, Eat That Frog, not Eat That Book. It is a book about 21 great ways to stop procrastinating and get more done in less time. And people ask me all the time, Debbie, how do you do it? How do you get so much done? Well, I don't get everything done that I want to. I'm just as frustrated as you guys are sometimes over all the things I want to do. I've got this huge list of things that are important to me that I want to do that I can't seem to ever finish. I can't ever check off everything off that list. It seems relatively impossible, especially when you have big plans and big goals and big dreams. And there's things that I want to add to my business, software and procedures and just new things that it's really hard to find the time to do it all. But I will tell you that this book has helped me immensely as a creative person who kind of likes to jump from task to task, and it's very hard for me to stay focused because I want to do them all, and I can get bored very easily, especially with just grinded out technical work. I don't do well with that. It's very hard to motivate myself. But this book definitely helped me realize that there can be a process and a system to avoid procrastination. And if you will follow the principles in this book, you will be 10 times more successful a year from today than you are today. Or if you just follow some of the principles in this book, you'll be more successful than you are today. And that's just guaranteed. So the book by Brian Tracy, Eat That Frog. He wrote it several years ago, but it is one of my favorites. And I like to write things down in my books. I make notes of things I'm going to do or things that I've learned that I want to revisit later or remember. And then this is why I still buy real books, even though I also download a lot of books on my phone, so I can either listen to it through Audible or I can just read it in bed or on a plane or whatever. But I still love the old-fashioned paper copy because I mark all through my books and I make notes in the margins of things I want to do. Now, this one, I must not have had a yellow highlighter when I was reading it. Because usually I use pens to write notes and things I want to do or ideas that I got as a result of reading a book, and then I'll highlight in yellow things I want to go back and revisit. So sometimes I don't want to just read an entire book again, but I'll pull it off the shelf and I'll go through the things that I underlined that I felt resonated the most with me. Or I'll write down in my book things I want to do or things I've learned. So just kind of a quirky little thing that some of you might be able to do. And I would love to hear from you if you do still like to hold in your hand a paper copy of a book that you can write in or do yellow highlighters and make notes and whatever. I would love for you to type some notes in there and let me know if you still use the old-fashioned books, or if you prefer Audible because you want to hear your books, or if you use Kindle. I'm just curious, how do you read your books typically? And then, do you make notes in your books? Notes for yourself to review later, or notes for yourself to do? A lot of my books, right here in the very beginning, front of the book, I'll have, I'll write down things, creative things that I plan to do based on what I learned in the book. Now, this one doesn't have anything there, but a lot of times I'll do that. Let's see if I have it in the back. No. So anyway, so let me read to you some things that I had written down the last time I read this book that I think will help you. And these are concepts that I gleaned from this book that have helped me and I know will help you. Number one, delegate. And so one of the ways to avoid procrastination and to get more things done in your life is to learn how to delegate tasks. There are certain tasks we shouldn't be doing anymore. I think Courtney does a really good job with that. She's in our CBF program, and she's always looking for things that she could outsource cheaply that are taking away from valuable time that she could be spending on high value tasks for herself. And so delegate, learn to delegate. That is one thing I learned from my mother, and of many, many things, that she was an amazing delegator. And if you can delegate the lower level tasks in your business, it does reserve your time and energy, but mostly your time, for high level tasks, tasks that will produce dollars in the bank, or business growth, freedom in your life, quality of life. So think about delegating. Number two, be action oriented. It's not good enough to read a book. You have to put some action behind the things you learn. This is one of the reasons why in our CBF course, Cleaning Business Fundamentals, we have a 6-month live coaching group that our members are a part of. And for those of you that haven't heard about Cleaning Business Fundamentals, I'll show you one of the notebooks I send. It's all video training and live coaching group, mastermind group. But you'll get this nice thick binder of information, and we help you put the information that you learn in the training into actionable steps, because it's not good enough just to learn stuff. If you don't know how to act, if you don't know how to put one foot in front of the other, if you don't know what to do next and in what order of priority, then it's really hard to act on the things you're learning. So you need to become action oriented. Don't just learn and soak up all this information like a sponge, attending every webinar you can, reading books, and then doing nothing tangible about it, about what you learn. Okay, number three, set goals and make to-do lists. And so if you'll make a to-do list every single day, then your day will be more directed by your goals than a reaction to whatever crisis is going on in your business that day. So setting goals and making to-do lists puts you more in control of your day. And I do realize that sometimes our day gets away from us and sometimes we lose control of the day. I get that. But just the act of creating a to-do list is the first step in being in control of your day. It is the first step. Now, one of the concepts that Brian Tracy shares, this is kind of his big thing, and that's the title of the book, Eat That Frog, is he says, there's just not enough time for everything on our to-do list. And I think we all agree with that. I know I sure can't do everything I want to do. And there never will be. So we need to understand that. We're never going to have enough time to get everything done that we want to do. Successful people don't try to do everything. They learn to focus on the most important tasks and make sure that those get done. So your daily to-do list, which incorporates your goals, is the best way to ensure that the most important things that need to be done get done before you go to bed at night or before you close down the computer at the end of the day and shut out the lights of your office. If you have a to-do list, then you can prioritize, well, what are the top 2 or 3 most important things I must get done today? If everything else goes to pot, if crisis 101 hits today, what are the 1 or 2 or maybe 3 things I absolutely have to do? And here's what he says. There's an old saying that if the first thing you do each morning is to eat a live frog, you'll have the satisfaction of knowing that it's probably the worst thing that you'll have to do all day. And the point there is, do the one thing that you dread the most, get it over with first thing in the morning. How many times, and I'm really bad about this, do I have something I have to do today? I have to get it done because tomorrow is a deadline. And I'll procrastinate all day long starting that thing because I don't want to do it. So what happens is I spend the whole day kind of with dread and fussing at myself. Oh, it's almost 11 a.m. and I haven't started that and I really wanted to be done by noon. And then 3 o'clock rolls around. It's like, oh man, I got to get this done. I got to get it done. So you spend the whole day kind of dreading that big, ugly, hairy frog that you don't want to eat. And in this book, the concept is eat it first, get it over with first. Get the one thing you don't want to do that is important, that must get done today, over with first thing in the morning. And then all the other tasks on your list aren't so bad. So think about things like returning customer calls when they complain. If somebody left you a nasty voicemail message last night and you know you're not going to return that call till the next business day, handle the call first thing in the morning. Don't wait and procrastinate because you hate dealing with angry, upset customers. Deal with the phone call first thing in the morning. Even if you just need to call them and acknowledge that you got their voicemail message, you're looking into what happened and you'll call them back before lunch. Deal with it first thing in the morning. Oftentimes it's never as bad as we think. It's the dreaded task is never as horrible as it feels like it will be. So get that over with first thing. Alrighty, so set goals and make to-do lists. Now, I also like to make my to-do list and then circle 1 or 2 things on that list that if nothing else gets done today, those 2 things will be done. Whether it's posting your service on Facebook, going in and posting in some Facebook groups that your service has openings this week and you'd like to fill them. You know, maybe those are things you don't really enjoy doing, but you know you have to do. Circle the most important things on your list. Or maybe you hate creating an online newsletter in your email campaigns, just a short newsletter of, you know, what's going on in your company, and you know you have to get it done by the end of today because you want to send that email out to, you know, thousands or hundreds of emails because you have openings. Whatever it is, do it. If it's important, have it on your list and then circle the 1 or 2 things that you absolutely have to do today, if that's it. Or maybe you're writing an article for a newspaper and the deadline to get your article, which is free exposure for your business, is Wednesday. Then circle that. If it's Tuesday and you still haven't worked on it or finished the article, circle that as something that has to get done today. So define what are the top most important priorities on that list and circle it. And if nothing else gets done that day, make sure you do it. Here's the problem with procrastination. We tend to check off all the things on our list that are easy and fast to check off, but they may not be the important things. Like, you know, whatever it is, maybe it's unimportant to write that news article, but we enjoy writing, so we get that done today. So be careful that you circle the important things and that you're not just ticking off your list. Maybe part of your list is answering emails. Well, how important are they if you've got 4 voicemails to return of people interested in hiring your service? Even if you dread sales, you don't enjoy selling, you'd much rather answer emails. What is most important? What will move your business forward the quickest? What is the most high value task you could do today? I think it is returning sales calls and selling your service to somebody who's interested. So eat that frog first. And then be addicted to success. I think I am. That should be a driver in your business. And then vision. If I can see it, then I can do it. Have a vision for where you want your business. I talk to cleaning business owners every single day that have no idea where they want to be in their business a year from today. They have no idea. They're just trying to get through today. They're just trying to get through the week. Many of them are still cleaning. They're trying to build a business and clean, do it all, manage staff, hire people, find people, try to return customer phone calls, try to manage quality. They're trying to do it all. And honestly, they cannot tell me where they would like to see their business 12 months from today. If you're in my CBF program, especially if you're in our coaching group, that's one of the things I'm pushing you all the time is where do you want to be in 3 months, in 6 months, in 12 months? Even if you don't hit your goal, just knowing where you want to be and the steps to get there is a big piece of achieving that goal. And the worst that can happen is you miss it, but you got closer to it than if you had no goal, no vision, you had no idea where you're going. You're just trying to survive today. And then think on paper, scratch it out. This is really good. Think on paper and scratch it out. If you're not careful, all you do is daydream and wish and hope, which kind of gets you nowhere, right? A goal without a specific date and a set of steps to reach that goal is nothing but a wish or a daydream. You know, I wish I were rich. I wish I weren't cleaning and making $100,000 a year. Well, that's just a wish without steps that are going to get you there and a specific date when you plan to be there. And so think on paper, write it out. How many customers do you need to have? How many recurring customers do you need to have to reach $1 million or to get your business to $500,000? Or how much income do you need to make in order to get out of the field completely and be able to afford to still, you know, pay your bills? Scratch it out on paper. And then I'm a big believer in this, never stop learning. We are all supposed to be full-time students. I usually have a mentor or a trainer in my life most of the time. I'm usually in some kind of a training program or another business mastermind group that's helping me develop my skills as a business consultant or a nonprofit leader or just leadership skills in general or speaking skills in general. I'm in a speakers academy right now. I'm in another mastermind group to coach me as a business consultant. Learning, learning, learning. Earners are learners. You should be learning all the time, taking training. And if you're saying, oh, I can't afford to take training, if all you ever do is take the free stuff, then don't be surprised when your business reflects the amount of money you invest in it. Don't be surprised. Your heads would explode if you knew how much money I've invested in my own training in the past 12 months. And I guarantee you it's tons more than the training that I charge for. Tons more. I'm going to say not quite 10 times more, but a lot more. If you're not investing in yourself, if you're not investing in your training, then your business will likely reflect how much time, energy, and money you've invested in being the best, being a better leader, being a better marketer, being a better employer, offering a better job that people don't want to quit on nonstop. Just invest in yourself. Be a full-time student. Never stop learning. When I go on, and now obviously I am obsessed with success, so you know, not everybody's quite built like me, but most of you are. As entrepreneurs, I'm going to say most of you are. when I go on vacation, it's not a vacation if I'm not loaded up with books, so that while I'm enjoying relaxation time, I'm learning. So I had a wonderful birthday weekend where my husband and I went to the Four Seasons and just literally lounged around for a day and a half, just by the pool, and got room service, had dinner in our room out on a beautiful patio with a fire pit. It was just fabulous, overlooking a golf course. Just one of my favorite hotels. It's like a staycation. Didn't really have time to take more than a day and a half. And I didn't work the whole time. I did not answer questions and problems in my Facebook group. I really didn't check email. I mean, I might have checked it a couple of times just to see if there was something urgent, because I never want to miss something urgent. But for the most part, I didn't work the whole weekend, but I did have my earphones in, listening to books and reading some books this weekend. So I can't say enough about be a full-time student. And then continually ask, what is the most valuable use of my time now? So for you, it might be, what is the most valuable use of my time today? Or what is the most valuable use of my time before lunch? And you've got to continually ask that, because sometimes the answers change. This is so important. It may be that it is no longer a valuable use of your time to attend all the networking groups in town, especially the little tiny ones that don't produce. Maybe it's time to scale back and say, well, I'm only going to attend that networking group and that networking group, and that's it. Because both of those have lots of people that attend, lots of influence, and I get leads and referrals. But these other networking groups end up being nothing but a social hour, and it's a waste of my time. You have to continually evaluate what you're doing. If you're still cleaning, and you had hoped to build a bigger business by now. And I'm not saying that everybody should stop cleaning. That may not be your goal for your business. But if you're still cleaning, you have to evaluate, is that a good use of my time? I was speaking to a woman today who had been cleaning for 10 years. She wants to grow a big business. She wants to make over $100,000 a year. Well, she doesn't even make $35,000 a year cleaning right now. And how is she ever going to build a big business, manage a bunch of staff and a whole bunch of happy customers if she's out cleaning? So cleaning is no longer a valuable use of her time, not after 10 years, because she has refined her sales skills. She's amazing at selling. It's a poor use of her time to be cleaning when she could be out selling her service at a higher price point and interviewing and hiring the next employee. So you're continually asking, what is the most valuable use of my time? For some business owners that are mature in business, the most valuable use of your time is to stop cleaning and take some training so that you can make a profit and build a big business that creates freedom, quality of life, and wealth, and a future. Set priorities on time-consuming tasks. This is really important because time-consuming tasks can be overwhelming, and they can take up your whole day, and then you didn't get anything done that you also needed to do. So maybe it is a 5 or a 6 hour project for you to write an article or create a blog. Then set priorities that you'll write for an hour, and then you'll answer emails for an hour, and then you will spend an hour and a half on payroll. So set priorities so that the important things get done, but you don't feel overwhelmed that some of the tasks that take longer to complete, don't get done in a single day. So set priorities. And then work all the time you work. This is so important. This I'm pretty good about. It's all the distractions that sabotage our success in getting things done. So I usually do not jump on Facebook during the day. I try to jump on Facebook in the evening when I'm sitting with my laptop in front of TV, just enjoying a little Seinfeld or some Friends or some depressing news. So I try not to deal too much with Facebook during the day. because while I'm working, I need to work. And if you're not careful and you have notifications coming up on your phone, look at my cute little phone with my sweet little babies. Grandbaby number 1, brand new, number 2, number 3, number 4. If your phone is pinging all day, that distraction, constantly looking at your pings, look at all those notifications I have. Those distractions cause you to constantly stop and then have to restart. And then you stop and then you restart. Work the whole time you're working. Don't get started on a project like, oh, I'm going to return some customer phone calls and make some sales. And you make 1 or 2 phone calls, and then you go to Facebook and you answer some people and you comment on your grandkids or your children or your friend's trip, or, you know, whatever. You click on the video to learn about how to make a chocolate pie, all those distractions. And Facebook is just an easy one because I think it is the most distracting thing on any of our devices that we have. But there are other things that can distract us, like phone calls that we don't need to take. Most of the time, my phone calls go to voicemail during the day. And I have a screening system where I'm able to listen to see if it is an urgent call. If it's a CBF member and it's an urgent call, I'm taking it. But if it's just, you know, hey, Debbie, I have a problem, you need to help me with it, then I'm going to help them with it in my time frame, instead of allowing all the distractions, all the phone calls, all the meetings, all the sales reps, everything that can hit your phone or your email when you're working. Work. Set aside time to work. And if that means you have to close down your email program because when it keeps pinging and notifying, you have a new email, you have a new email, you have a new email, you get distracted and you're like, oh, what's that? Oh, she's mad. And then all of a sudden you're shifting again. Work while you're working, and of course, prioritize your work. Work the whole time you're at work. That also means turning off talk radio. That also means don't work with the TV on. Those are distractions that cause you to stop working while you're working. Podcasts. I mean, there are a lot of great podcasts. I subscribe to several podcasts too. I love to learn. But when I'm working, I need to have the podcast off. Values come first, priorities come second, period. Now, not everybody necessarily agrees with that, but in my life, values come first, priorities come second. If you tell your kid you will be at their game that starts at 4 p.m. today, then you have to ask yourself, is that a value that needs to come first? Even if there is a top priority that I'm going to pay a penalty for if I have to relegate that top priority to second. So if you don't compromise on your values, and if you know what your values are, then you'll get better at structuring your day to where your values don't come second and your priorities come first. So I'll give you an example of that. If your value is, I promise my kid I will be at their game at 4 p.m. today, and you get a last minute phone call and it's 3:45, and this lady says, tonight is the only night I can do the estimate. I've got to hire a maid service. I need you guys to start day after tomorrow. I don't have time for an estimate except for tonight at 4. That's all I have. And I'm going to be booking your service weekly, but I got to get you signed up and I'm going out of town, yada, yada, yada. A priority, of course, is to drop everything and run out there and make that sale. I mean, that would be a priority for me. Making the sale is always a priority, in my opinion, if I want to grow my business and make the most that I can. But if my values come first, then I might need to lose that sale and just say, oh, I'm so sorry. There's absolutely no way I can be there at 4 today. Are you sure I can't come at 6 p.m.? Or are you sure I can't come first thing in the morning? Or maybe there's somebody else I can send. But it might mean losing the sale because they don't need to know. This is none of their business. I would not volunteer. My kid has a game and I'm putting my kid first. They don't need to know that. It's none of their business. But if that's a value, and if your values come first and your priorities come second, The decision is already made before you answer the phone. I'm going to be at my kids' game at 4 p.m. today. If I have to lose my number one best paying customer, if my number one best paying customer that pays $250 a week every single week calls up and says, I need this and I need you to get out here and see it at 4 o'clock because I'm upset and I'm going to cancel if you can't, then it might mean you have to lose that customer. Now, if that's constantly happening day in and day out, you got operational problems. If you have so many crises that require that level of attention all the time, then you have serious operational problems. But I'm talking about things that just come up. If your values come first and your priorities come second, the decision will already be made for you. And then here's something for the perfectionists. We all need to hear this for the perfectionists. Get it 80% right and then go back later and correct it and improve it. So especially when you're writing material, this is something I always struggle with. I want to proofread it and make sure the grammar is right and the sentence structure is right when I should be just brain dumping on the piece of paper and then correct it later. And with just about anything, get it 80% right. Otherwise, you're going to perfect things to death and you're never going to launch anything. So, for example, if you've been spending months creating an employee handbook, get it 80% right and you can always perfect it later. But it's all this perfectionism that keeps us from moving forward. You can improve it later. My CBF program, I developed this program 10 years ago, and it looks nothing like it did back then, and it's a lot more than it was back then too. But if I tried to perfect it back then, I would never have launched it. And I helped a lot of people 10 years ago when I first started doing my consulting. But over the years, I've improved it and I've created, version 4.0. Now it's video training with amazing downloadable handouts and a really good membership website that you can log in and watch the videos on your own time frame. And when you log off, it remembers where you left off, so you don't have to log back in and try to figure out where was I. So, get stuff 80% right and then improve it over time. Maybe it's your marketing piece. Maybe it's your website, whatever. Get it 80% right and then you can perfect it later. Let's see if I'm missing any comments. I'm not seeing any. Can you guys make some comments? Because I'm not seeing anything. Maybe, whoa, I think I just lost my connection. Let's see here. Oops. Oh, good. I clicked over and, I'm still there, I think. Type something in and let me know if. I think I just lost my connection. No, I can. Let's see here. Oops. It's kind of frozen, so I'm trying to turn off the sound. There we go. Okay. It was frozen, so I couldn't read any of your comments. I don't know how to fix that. It's kind of frustrating. But let's see if I can read some comments. Well, I can't. It's still... I'm not getting the refreshed comments, so I apologize. But anyway, let me just kind of wrap this up for you guys. So what else here? Look for the lesson in every setback. This is powerful. This is powerful, and this really speaks to the kind of person that you are. Ooh, I'm burning up here. This speaks to the kind of person you are in your mindset, whether you're a negative person or a positive person, or you've retrained your mindset to be positive, that every bad thing that happens to you in your life and in your business, there is something you can learn from it. You can get better and be better from it. And I have felt this way, I will have to say, most of my life and most of my business, that every setback has a lesson that I was supposed to learn from. If you're not careful, what will happen is when you have a setback, you just feel defeated. You throw in the towel. You start hearing the voices in your head that says, yeah, I knew you couldn't do it. I knew you would fail. Nothing you ever do works. You're just a big failure. It was a matter of time. You know, all that head trash that people listen to. Think about how every setback has a lesson you were supposed to learn from. And what is that lesson? And what did you learn from it? I know when I was failing in my business many, many years ago, it was moving backwards. I was missing paychecks because I couldn't meet payroll and pay myself what I'd grown accustomed to paying myself in terms of a salary. And so I was having to skip paychecks for myself, and I had to rob Peter to pay Paul. I had to call some of my vendors and say, can you wait another month? I think I'll have payment next month. I mean, it was just terrible. What lesson did I need to learn from all that? I mean, I could write a book on the lessons I learned when I was failing in business. Maybe I will write a book. You know, people don't want to read about business failure. They don't want to read about that. They want to be inspired and encouraged. But I could literally fill a book with the mistakes that I made and the lessons that I learned on how I could have avoided some of the most painful mistakes that I made. Completely avoidable. What were the lessons that I learned? So look for the lessons in every setback. And then difficulties come not to obstruct, but to instruct. Do you believe that? Do you believe that difficulties come not to obstruct you and to trip you up and make you fail, but to instruct you on how to be better and stronger, a better leader, a more powerful business person, a more profitable, sustainable, scalable business? What are those lessons? If you let them defeat you, if you just throw in the towel and say, I knew I wasn't cut out for success, I knew it was just a matter of time before I fail. If you let those setbacks stop you, then you're the reason you're failing, not all those external things that keep happening. And so what are those lessons that we can learn? Every problem has a solution. Don't blame, don't complain. Spring into action. This is my mantra in life. Don't blame and don't complain. That's why my CBF private Facebook group isn't filled with complaining and whining. Business owners post real challenges and ask for help and feedback, and then they get amazing help and feedback from some of our more experienced CBF members, our seasoned rock stars like Ginger and others that help different people in our groups, Braxton, Marlene, the people with great creative ideas or have solved that specific problem in the past. They're positive and they help each other. Don't waste your time complaining or blaming. I don't really put up with whining and complaining in my group. In fact, we don't have a problem with it. Maybe because I know I wouldn't put up with it. Once in a blue moon, I'll see somebody post something negative, dumping, but not really asking for a solution. What a waste of time. Now, if that's rare and you just have to get something off your chest once in a blue moon, I'm not going to deal with it because we all have our days. But for the most part, our CBF group is incredibly positive. People are sharing great ideas, posting challenges, and getting great feedback. Why? Because we don't learn anything by blaming others or by complaining. We learn by saying, this is what happened today. What could I have done differently? This is what happened. This is what I said. What should I have said? Or this is what happened. How should I respond? So don't blame, don't complain, seek solutions. And that's the whole point of the Cleaning Business Fundamentals program, is to get solutions to your problem. Don't wallow in your frustration year after year after year. Don't settle for a business that's consuming your life but paying you peanuts. Don't settle for that. Don't complain and whine about it. Do something about it. Change your life, change your business, change your circumstance. Don't whine, don't complain, and definitely don't blame. When we blame, we don't fix anything. So when people come to me and they say, well, Debbie, the reason my business won't grow is, and then they have a list of blaming. The economy, all the price-only customers, super cheap competition out there. My town has a lot of cheap competition, as if that's unique. Or, oh, you can't find any good workers, they're all lazy. So when we blame everything else for our lack of success, we don't get better. We don't change anything because we don't believe that the changes need to start here. We think the changes need to start out there. Well, if that's the case, good luck. You can't change them. You can only change you. And then lastly, standardize and delegate. This is the whole point of the Cleaning Business Fundamentals program. Standardize and delegate. First, I teach you how to standardize everything in your business. Quit obsessing over perfection. You can't standardize perfection. So first, I teach you how to standardize and systemize everything in your business. And then how to delegate. Obviously, the first thing I get you to delegate is get out of the field, stop cleaning. That can be delegated to staff. And then, little by little, what to delegate and what to continue as the owner so that you can create freedom and quality of life in your business. I mean, what's the point of making a lot of money if you have no freedom? If you have no quality of life? If you cannot go on vacation with your cell phone, without your cell phone blowing up with texts and problems and emails that you personally have to deal with, what's the point of making good money if you can't enjoy it? And so standardize and delegate. Then, this is another thing I teach in the CBF program, track and measure everything. Track and measure everything. Standardize, measure, and report. These are all things that you need to do to be successful in business, to take your business to the next level, whatever that is for you. It's your goal. It doesn't have to be my goal. It doesn't have to be extreme, but it's whatever is success to you. And the principles in this book, those are just the things that I wrote down that I learned when I read this book a few years ago. The principle, and of course I always write my name on the book because sometimes I buy 5 or 6 copies of a book so I can give it away. And one time I gave away one of my books that I had marked all up and had stars and highlights and notes. And I was mortified because I really value all the notes I can go back and reread. So always put your name on the outside of the book if you tend to give books away to other people. So Eat That Frog, a really great book to help you stop the procrastination, prioritize your day, get more done than others are getting done, and actually see the achievements of the prioritizing of your tasks. Because what's so good about prioritizing tasks if you don't get to see the results, the achievement of doing this? So you'll actually see your business move forward, your profitability improve, your day improve, your quality of life improve, whatever it is that you're working on, if you systematically prioritize and learn how to stop procrastinating. Now, I have a project I have to work on. I've been procrastinating today because I didn't want to get it started. I'm going to get that done tonight. I don't think I can take any questions because my Facebook seems to be frozen, and I don't know why. Couldn't tell you. But feel free to drop me a note, ask a question, and I will be able to see it later. Even if you're watching on the replay, I'll be able to see the questions as they come in. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this book review. I'll try to do, maybe I'll do one a week now. The next book I review will be a newer book. This is one of the older books, but I have certain books that I consider business classics, must reads. I don't care how old the book is that you've got to read. So I'm going to review a lot of my business classic books and then some newer ones as well. If you want to get on my text list so you never miss a single, let me share my screen with you and show you how to receive a text, but right here, it's super simple. Just type in 41242 in the 2 area, just like you would type a phone number. And don't worry, your phone will probably put a dash in between the 41 and the 242. But type in 41242, and then where you type a message down there in the area where you would type, like you're typing to somebody you want to send a message to, type in Debbie Live. And your phone might try to autocorrect and put a space between Debbie Live. You need to remove the space or it won't work. So type Debbie Live to 41242 and hit send. And that will subscribe you to my list. And whenever I go live, you'll get a text and you can just click right over from your phone and join us live. So I hope this was helpful, everybody. And I guess we'll talk to you next time. Thanks for joining me live. And if you would, two announcements. Let me give you two announcements before I forget. If you are interested in cleaning business fundamentals, how to get out of the field and build a bigger business, more profitable business that emphasizes quality of life and high employee retention, then visit cleaningbusinessfundamentals.com. You may qualify for a free consult with me. Don't waste your consult until you're ready, though, to invest in yourself. If you don't have two nickels to rub together, don't waste your consult now. Wait till you're in a position to invest in your training. So cleaningbusinessfundamentals.com. You can go there and learn more about the course material, the 6-month live coaching group, and book a one-on-one consult with me. The other thing I want to remind you guys, and please spread the word, I've signed a contract today, but it looks like we'll be going to Atlanta, Georgia, June 29th and 30th for for speed cleaning for the pros. It's the 2-day event, speed cleaning for the pros. Lots of people could drive up from Florida and surrounding areas and meet us in Atlanta. The hotel is so cheap. We got rooms secured for $106 a night, but you need to register as soon as I make my registration live, ASAP, because when I release those rooms, you will not find rooms for $106. Also, the hotel, it's a Marriott, it's right by the airport, so you don't have to rent a car if you fly in. There's free transportation over to the hotel. And there's restaurants and things in the area as well as in our hotel. So $106 a night for the Marriott, and it's nice. It's very nice. So June 29th and 30th, save the date. If you're going on vacation, work your family vacation around those dates so you can join us. I promise you, you won't regret it. And of course, it's a business write-off. So June 29th and the 30th. And then cleaningbusinessfundamentals.com if you'd like more information about my program and you want to be a part of this amazing group. Thanks, everybody. Hope you have a great night, and thank you so much for joining me.